The sun was especially bright for a November day in Missouri. Its rays were glinting off my computer screen, so I vaulted from my seat at my desk to adjust the blinds. Immediately, I felt a sharp pain below my shoulder blades, and I fell back into my chair. Years earlier, I had passed a kidney stone, and this felt similar, so I self-diagnosed that another boulder was attempting to enter my urinary canal. I drove myself home, dropped 2 Tylenol, and awaited my wife's return. An hour passed, with the pain increasing in intensity, and finally Doree was home. "Doree," I said, "I think you better drive me to emergency. They'll give me some medicine to help pass the stone." 45 minutes later, I was sitting in a wheelchair with a blood pressure sleeve attached to my arm. When the nurse's face blanched, I knew this was more serious than a kidney stone. "What's happening?" I asked. "I don't think this is a kidney stone. It could be your heart," she replied. Seconds later, I was being hoisted onto a gurney and rushed down the hallway into surgery by an entourage of medical professionals. Even though death appeared to be knocking at my door and my blood pressure was skyrocketing, it was the calmest moment of my life. While doctors and nurses scurried to their stations, I whispered a prayer. No panic, just peace. God, if this is the end of my journey, thank you for giving me a great life. I've been blessed. All I ask is that you take care of Doree and the girls. Those were my final words before the anesthesia kicked in and the physician commenced with the angiogram. When I awoke the next morning, Doree and my friend Mark Green were standing at the end of my bed. Mart had driven through the night to be by my side and pray for me. "Am I going to be okay?" I asked, seeking confirmation. "Yes, everything's good now," Doree said, leaning over the bed for a kiss. "You're going to be better than okay, my man," Mart added, taking hold of my hand. "God has more for you to do." Tears welled up in my eyes because, at that moment, I knew God was giving me another chance. Doree delivered the prognosis. "The doctor will be here shortly, but they had to put 2 stents in your left artery. But they said the rest of the heart looked fine, and you'll be okay." In the days that followed, as I lay in my hospital bed, I prayed for understanding and direction. I opened my Bible at random one night and began reading Psalm 138. My eyes fell on these words: "Though I walk in the midst of trouble, you preserve my life." Psalm 138, verse 7. God hadn't called me to be a martyr, but I'd been living like one. I was working 2 jobs, speaking on weekends, and authoring books. It was obvious the demanding schedule and prolonged stress had contributed to my illness. It was time to make some serious changes, or there would be more stints in my future. I'm certain God tried to get my attention long before, I just wasn't listening. But now I was hearing him loud and clear. If I didn't make changes and learn to deal with my stress was going to deal with me.